All right, the recording has started now. Can you all please try by all means to mute your microphone so that at least you don't disturb the class? So you can only unmute it if we have a question. But if there's no question, please just try by all means to make sure that your microphone is off. Okay. I just want to welcome everyone. I believe most of you, if not all, you get the glimpse of what will be happening in this lecture 5, which is Introduction to C++ Programming. And I just want to remind you that, guys, this is an introduction to C++ programming. So it's not something that you think it will be deep. I think if you can just follow up whatever things that I will be giving you now, you will see that this thing is just simple and straightforward. It's just playing with your mind. So if you can just focus for at least this hour, I'm telling you, by the end of this lecture, you will gain some knowledge. You will gain some knowledge, I'm telling you. So just focus for at least an hour and put aside the other thing and just listen attentively. And then I'm sure that whatever things that I'm going to share now is going to help you, and all of you are going to understand. I had some of the students who came to me during the day saying they want to be a computer scientist. They want to change and do computer science. And I'm telling you, if you can just follow up or whatever things that I'm giving you as an introduction, you are not going to find it difficult to take this as your degree. So guys, I'm just going to make sure that I try to be simple and slow so that at least you get everything. So I like teaching online as well, because I know that if students they miss some of the points, they can go back and refer to the videos. So this one will only require you to have your own space and just sit down and focus, write down the notes if possible. Whatever things that you are not understanding, just take a note of that. Okay, pardon me for now. I will have to mute everyone. Because this is disturbing the class. But at least now, by now, I just mute everyone so that. So if you have any question, just try to write it on the comment. So if you have any question, write it on the comment. Then I will be reading the comment on the other side so that at least I help those ones who have questions, because by now I'm just forced to mute everyone so that we can have this class without any disturbance. So I'm just going to try by all means to be simple and slow so that I will impart this knowledge that I have unto you. And I'm telling you, this thing is very much simple and straightforward. It's not complicated as you think. So last time I introduced you to this C++ programming, And I mentioned on our previous lecture that the contents that we are going to cover in this lecture 5, which is C++ programming, mainly the introduction, then in definitions, basics of C++. If you check, it says basics. So we are dealing with basics just to give you a hint of what maybe you are going to face if you are taking this as your career. So these are just the basics, and we also have what we call the control structure. So under basics, I'm just going to show you the structure of a program, a variable and data type, constant operator, and basic input and output. So if you still remember, we finished the introduction, we do the definitions, and we were on the structure of a program last time when we ended the lecture. So I'm just going to go through a little bit so that at least you recap from what we have learned before. So with the introduction part, this one I'm sure everyone is this one is just clear and straightforward. So if you were not in class, you can just read. So, and even the definitions are clear and straightforward. If you were not in class before, you can just read those definitions. And I told you last time that these are the most important definition maybe that you can take notes of when you are doing the programming, like definition like debug, which is the process of locating and fixing the error. We have the definition like a run, that we're executing the program. Compiler, what is a compiler? What is the source code? All these ones were mentioned there in class. So if you were not there, you can just read it. It's just simple and straightforward. So we were on the structure of a program. We were on the structure of a program. And there, we finished the part of the structure of a program. I told you that the best way to start learning a programming language is by writing a program. Then I write that simple program there. If you were in class, you will still remember that we had that simple program. Sorry, I just want to. Okay, it's fine. So we had this simple structure of a program that I wrote, and we were explaining this line by line from starting from line number 1. If we check here, at this point we have this line, which is line 1 to up to the last line there, even though those numbering were not positioned rightly. But there I explained that when you start to write your C++ program, you must understand this structure. This is just a structure of a program. So how your program will look like. Then I mentioned that that first line that you see there, my first is a program in C++, is just a comment, and we see a comment beginning with those forward slash, double forward slash. Someone is saying, please send the slides on WhatsApp. I think I already sent this thing. Okay, let me just do it quickly. Okay, let me just go there. All right, I think now you have those slides that you were requesting. Also open it. So it's good for you to just also use your phone on the other side, or just to follow whatever things that I'm showing, and then so that at least it will be clear on your side. So those slides, I sent it on WhatsApp just now. I think everyone got it now. So let's continue. Okay, we are on slide number 6. The structure of a program, structure of a program. So I was saying, I explained during the class, for those ones who were there, if you still remember, I showed you that structure of a program, that this is how your program will look like. And I mentioned one by one, line by line, telling you what is the use of this. So on this next slides, one by one. Okay, previously here, this is the full program. And after writing this kind of a program, it will only print this hello world there as a result. So I'm going to explain again so that maybe you can understand. So this is the structure of a program. I give this example to say, if let's say, for example, I say go and dig a hole, and for you to dig that hole, it's obvious you must get a pick, you must get a shovel, and other material so that you can dig that hole. So the same applies to this. So in order for you to write any kinds of a program using C++, you must understand the tools that you must use. The tools that you must use, that we call it the structure of a program. That structure you must understand how your your program will look like. Uh, how your program will look like. Okay, those ones who are sending there, no problem. You will see it there on the screen. Just follow there on if you can just open on WhatsApp, just open slide number 6. So those ones who can see, who say they can see the screen, don't worry. Just open slide number 6 on WhatsApp, and then we continue from there. So instead, you can just open WhatsApp while the Microsoft Team is also open. It can allow you to do that if you are using the advanced phone. So you will see that Microsoft Teams on the corner, and then you just continue with the slides, and then you will resume them, so that at least whatever things that I'm saying, you will see it there. So you will be hearing me and then checking on your slides on WhatsApp, those ones that I send on WhatsApp. So you zoom on page number 6. So let me continue now. All right. So as I was saying, that this is just a structure. This is how your program will look like. So if we go to slide number 7, so I was explaining those lines. Those first words that we write, we put those forward, double forward slash, and write my first program in C++. So this is just a comment line. So any line that will begin with the 2 slash are not considered. All right, sorry for that. I think I was also having a network challenge, so it was loading. So I believe everyone is still hearing me now. So if you can hear me, just write on the comment so that I don't proceed while others are not hearing me. So as I was saying, the first line there, it's my first program in C++. So that my first program in C++, I just write it starting with that double forward slash to show that this, it doesn't have any effect in the computer, in the program. It's just a comment. It's just a comment. So the second line or the third line from this program is written hash include IO stream. So if you are starting to write your program and put that line hash include, what does that mean? So this line is just a derivative for the preprocessor. So this one, you are telling your preprocessor to include the IO stream standard. So when you are writing a program using that compiler, which is code block, when you write that word hash include IO stream, it will tell the preprocessor to include the IO stream standard. So there you are saying, okay, in this computer, I'm going to use this IO stream, which is input and output stream. And inside that input and output stream, there is what we call the standard that we call it the namespace. So there you will tell it that I'm going to use the namespace standard. So just like as I say that if you are going to dig a hole, you say, okay, I'm going to take so I'm going to get this tool. In this my toolbox, let's say your toolbox is that IO stream, and then in that toolbox you say, okay, now in this toolbox I'm going to take out what a pick. I'm going to take out what a shovel. So there in C++ we say, okay, in my toolbox, which is IO stream, I'm going to use this what we call the namespace standard. Then from there, you are going now to your main program. So that int main function, you are saying, so this line, every line that begin with the int main, it means that is the function. So there you will say, okay, now I'm going to start my function. This is where now, this is what I'm going to do now. In this program, this is what I'm going to do. From here, this is what I'm going to do. So when you want to start your whatever things that you want to do, you put it inside that function called the main function. So you write it that way, int main. Then from there, you include whatever things that you want to include. And in this case, in that simple program, it's where now we write that simple hello world to say, okay, in this program, I just want you to print hello world. So let me just demonstrate this so that at least you get it. I'm going to share my screen. So I believe everyone can see my screen there. So in this, my screen, what I'm going to do now, okay, I just want to close everything. And then I'm going to open this code block. Code blocks. So this is the software that you are going to use when you are writing a program. It's called a code block. So when you open this software, okay, it's still loading. So now you can just check on the screen and then you'll see that once. Then you can zoom. Those ones who are using a phone, you can try to use the landscape there so that at least maybe you can see whatever things that I'm sharing. So if you use as a landscape, then the screen will be at least large. Then this is the software that we're going to use to do programming, which is called code block. So then now I'm going to file. I hope everyone can see now. I'm going to file and I go to new. then I will say empty file. Go to file, new empty file. And then this is where I'm going to write my program. Remember, I said when we do the introduction that the program in C++ is of the extension CPP. So before I continue, I can first go to file again and I save this file as, just like you are writing your Microsoft Word document. So in this case, I'm going to write here, okay, let me just include it on my, and I will write FIT 1240 underscore 2022. So I'm going to write to put all my program in this folder. So I'm sure that by now all of you know how to create a folder where you will store your data or whatever things that you want to write. So then the name of that program that I'm writing now, I will just call it any name. Okay, I'm going to call it first program. I call it first program. Remember, I say the file extension for C++, you write .cpp. So you write .cpp. Then I save this one. So now I can start to write. So if we check here the file name, it shows that it's first program.cpp. So now let's start with that program. I'm going to type that program here. Then the program, we say when you want to start to write a program, you tell your preprocessor that you are going to include what? The IO stream. So you say hash include IO stream. IO stream. Then under IO stream, you say you are going to use what? Using namespace standard. STD. Then you are there. Then from there, we are going to the main function. Int main. Then you are there. You open the braces. Then whatever things that you are going to write, that you want your program. Okay, remember we must also have the returning value here to say this is the last. So what if after whatever things that I will write there on the main, if I see that is completed, so my program will end here. So this is what we call a structure of a program. Your program will be like this. So if you write this structure, then now you can start to do whatever things that you want to do. So now, let's say I want my program to just to just output that word hello world. So I will just say cout, then I will write hello world. There you are. You are done. So I'm going to run this to compile this program. And after compiling it, I run it. So if you check here, the output is just write hello world because it's what I say I want my program to write. So what I want is the whole. I go with the shovel, I go with the pick, I dig. What the results that I want is this one, hello world. So this is what we call a structure of a program. So today we are going to talk about, if you go and check, I think what I can do now, I will do everything while I'm in this same page. So I'm not sure if you guys, you can be able to do this multitasking. Okay, but let me not. Okay, I'll just explain whatever which is on the slide here on the program. Okay, let me just do so to simplify things for everyone. I'm going to explain whatever things that are on that slide until the end. So we are working here. The first on page on that slide, I think I will just refer the pages. on page number, on slide number 11, we talk about the comment, so that I wanted you to understand about the comment, how that the comment work. So we told you that the comments, they don't have any effect in your program. It's just the lines that you can, as a programmer, you can just use. They simply do nothing. Their purpose is only to allow the programmer to insert the notes or description or embedded within the source code. So now, let's say here, as a programmer, you want to just write a comment to say, okay, this one is just my first program. So when you are writing a comment, if you start by writing this double slash and forward slash, and you can just write, okay, this is my first program. If you check this line, because I put this double slash, it shows that it doesn't have any effect in your program. Even the color, you can see that is faded. But if I remove these two double slash and write it this way, it means that now this one, it will be written, it will be considered as an expression. So if I run this, if I compile this program like this, if you check here down, it shows me that there are many errors here. Why? Because this is my program, I write it as a statement. So, but if I put those double slash like this, so we have two types of comments in C++. We have what we call a line comment and also what we call a block comment. A line comment discard everything in that line, and a block comment, it means that you can write many statements. So how do you write a block comment? Let's say, for example, in this one, I want to write that this is my first program, and I want to write that this program is written by me. Then here down I say written by Mr. O. Masilel. Then if I want this first line and second line to be as a comment, instead of me coming down and put the double slash again, I can use a block comment. A block comment, you start with a forward slash, then you put asterisk or a star. So where the forward slash and the star begin, you see it highlights everything to say everything is just a comment until you close it. So how do you close that comment? You close it by putting asterisk and forward slash. So by doing so, it shows that from the beginning of this forward slash and the asterisk until where the asterisk and the forward slash ended is just a comment. So we have two types of comment. We have what we call a line comment and a block comment. So a line comment I can write here. Let's say, for example, after writing this output, I can put those line comment here and I put forward slash. I say this is my output. So remember, it's not compulsory for you to write these comments. It's just for a programmer, just maybe to remind a programmer of a certain statement that you write there. Let's say if you are writing it's just for you as a programmer to say, okay, in this line, I'm going to put my main function. In this one again, so you can comment in all of this one and say, okay, this is my main function. This is my main function. And then you can write, or this one is the ending of my program. And so all these ones that I'm writing, they are just comment. They don't have any effects in your program. Then after this one now, I talk about the variable and the data type. So now I think for today we'll just talk about the variable and data type, then we end there so that we don't confuse your mind. But before I go, I just want to hear from you guys if you are following up to this point. I just want to hear from you if you are following from whatever things that I was saying until this point. So let me just try to unmute here so that I will hear. Okay, I will allow the mic for the attendee. And then, okay, before I continue, I just want to hear, is there any comment? Are you all following?
Say you are too fast.
Okay.
No.
Okay. Okay, let me just do it again for the last time.
Say I'm not following.
Sir, you know the
Yes.
problem might be
Not
because
following.
the screen is low on our
Your
side.
presentation is blurry.
See what you are doing immediately, so it becomes a little bit confusing to others. Because like you would be doing something and then the screen will be showing it seconds later, so we cannot understand what you are talking about at times.
Okay.
Okay. See completely.
Okay, from what I've written there in this are you all now able to see this program that I projected here?
No. Your presentation is blurry. No.
Okay, is there anyone who can see it? So those ones who say it's blurry, then it's because
Yes.
of the network. Then it means that you can just rewatch.
So now we can see.
Yes.
Let's move on.
All right. Okay. Now I'm going to say it again. Ne? I said when I start to say this programming language is simple and straightforward. The only thing that you will have to understand is what we call a structure. And I try to put this example to say, okay, guys, let's say, for example, I give you a task to say, guys, can you please go and dig a hole for me? It's obvious that you cannot just go there and look at the ground and the ground begin to till itself until you complete that hole. You must get the tools there to do that. And I said in this programming, as I give as an example, so we have what we call a structure of a program, how your program will look like. The things that if you don't write them, if you don't have them, you are not going to do anything in that program. So I say this part is a must for you to know it, no matter what, it's a must. And what that part is called the structure of a program. Then I'm going to delete this line, which is line number 13. And then, okay, I'm also going to remove all these comments that I was writing, all of them, because they're just a comments. So they don't have any effect in the program. Then I'm going to remove all these parts. So I say only these lines, how many lines? 1, 2, 3, 4. Only these 4 lines that are the ones that you must know, no matter what. This one is a must. Without these lines, you are not going to do anything. And what are those lines? Those lines are just for the beginning of it. It's what we call a hash include IO string. I explain, you can also read on the slides, that if you write this word hash include IO string, you are simply telling your preprocessor to include what we call the IO stream. And then within that IO stream, we have what we call the namespace standard. So after writing this statement that you want to include the IO stream, you have to also write this word that now And I give this example to say, okay, now let's say you will go to your storeroom. Let's say this hash include IOStream is your storeroom. And I give you a task to say, go and dig a hole. You go to the storeroom. Here you are simply saying, okay, I'm going to include this storeroom. I'm going to the storeroom. And when I get to the storeroom, I'm going to get a shovel and a pick. So I'm saying I'm going to use what we call a namespace standard in that IOStream. Then from there, after including that, you can now start with your program. And your program, when you start it to write, you must start with the main function that here is what I'm going to do now. So I draw the line to say, okay, this is the 4-corner line. This is what I'm going to do in this 4-corner line, which is int main. So you write int main function, then you write those brackets, then you open these curly brackets. Then from there, this part here, from this line 10 here, if you see line 10, until wherever you will end, all this here in this space, it's where now you are going to write whatever things that you want to achieve. It's where you want to write whatever things that you want to achieve. What do you want to achieve? Let's say I give you, okay, maybe if I give you this simple example, you will understand. Let's say now I say, okay, guys, please write a program that will be used to calculate 2 numbers in C++. So what you are going to do now, you will start your program by writing those code, hash include IOStream, using namespace standard. Then inside my main function, this is what I'm going to achieve now. Then what do you want to achieve? You want to add 2 numbers. So now let me, even though I will be rushing to the other part, but it will also help you. So there inside the IOStream, we have the input and output functions that you can use in C++. So now let's say, for example, so I wanted you before to continue with this example, but I wanted you to understand the variables and data type. But I will explain everything as part of this program. So now I'm going to write, let's say, for example, you want to, okay, yeah, the first thing that I did in class, if you still remember, I say, okay, let's say I say, write a program that will calculate an area of a rectangle. You understand that area of a rectangle is given by what? A equals to length multiplied by breadth. So now, in C++, we have what we call the variables. Variables are just a portion of a memory to store a determined value. So how do you write the variable in C++? In C++, you can name your variable anyhow, as long as you follow what we call the identifier. Is that I'm not going to open those slides, but I'm just going to write it here, you will understand. So writing a variable, it's up to you how you name them. So in this case, let's say, because we have we want to calculate area of a rectangle, and we have A, which is for area, we have B, which is for breadth, and we have L, which is the length. So now it means that in this case, I must have 3 variables. How do you name those variables? You name it anyhow. So in this case, I'm just going to write them here. And remember, any variable that you have to write, you must also include the data type of that variable. So though I'm rushing to this part of data type, but allow me to write it here, then I will explain after. Then now I will say, okay, I'm going to have a variable called A. It's dependent on you. I will call it A, or I call it area. Okay, I will call it area. Then the other variable that I'm going to have in this one, I will have a variable called length. Or you write L, it's up to you. how you name it, and you have the width, or you call it W, it's up to you. Then all these three variables, you want to give them a data type. Should they be an integer, or you want them to be a double or a float number? If it's an integer, it means that it's a singular number. And if it's a floating or a double, it means that maybe that number can have a comma. So let's say, for example, I want to write a program to calculate the area of a rectangle, I will know that maybe sometimes you can measure the area and find that maybe the length is 2,5. Then now it means that I'm going to give all these three variables that I have named, that I have invented, I'm going to give them the data type called double to show that, okay, this one can have a float number. Okay, I will write here double. This one is just a data type. I will show you the slide where you can read all those data type. If you check on the notes there, go to a slide where there is this different data type, you understand about them. So I give this as doubles. Then now, after here, so what do you want to achieve? After having this area, length, and breadth, you want to calculate the area of a rectangle. Then now, how do you calculate the area of a rectangle? Area of a rectangle is given by a L multiplied by W, or length multiplied by width. Then now you are going to write your program. Okay, now remember the length will be punched by what? By a user. The width will be punched by a user, but the area will be calculated by the program itself. So now, if you want a user to punch in the value of length, this is what you write in C++. You write the word C in. C in, you are saying C in, it means that punch in. I'm just giving it in a simpler way. Punch in. And when you write this C in, you must write, after that you write 2 greater than sign to show you that, okay, punch in what? You want to punch in what? Length. Then you terminate. Then again, you want a user to punch in what we call what? A width. Then I'm going to terminate. Then now, after punching those two, our formula, it says what? Our formula is area is given by width, length multiplied by width. Then now, after this statement, you want this program to output on the screen the result of what? Of area. So now, if you want the program to output the results on the screen, you write what we this simple statement called, you write C out, C out, to say this one you want it to be outputted on the screen. C in, it means that it's what it will be punched by the user. C out is what is going to be displayed on the screen. Then you want to display what on the screen? You want to display what? Area. Then you end it there. So then it means that you are done with this, the full program to calculate the area of a rectangle. Then I'm going to execute this one, and we'll see how it works. So using this code block, you go to this gear sign, which is to build, and then you press this gear. I made a mistake here. So if there is a mistake, it will show you here that on line number 14, this thing was not declared. It means that I didn't declare this one because I read the otherwise there. So I'm just going to delete this G here that I made a mistake. Then I'm going to build it again. Then it says now build completed, 0 errors. It means that this program doesn't have any error. Then now you can run it. You can go to run here. So now if we check this program, it starts by blinking there, waiting for me to key in the first value. Okay, I key in, okay, I measure the length, I get that the length is 2. Then I write that 2. Then I say enter. It waits for me to enter the second value because I say see in again. And I say, okay, when I measure the width, it gives me 1 or 1 comma something or just 1. Then I enter here. So it writes down here that my answer will be 2. Let me just run it again and give that difference value. Let's say I measure the length is 6. Then I measure this one is 7. Then I enter. It writes that my area is what? Is 42. My area is 42. Okay, okay, up to this point now, before I continue to add some other thing in this program, because you can add the other thing that I'm going to add now just to show you how you can make this program to be a user friendly or to interact nicely with the user. There are other things that you can include, but if we ask you to write a program to calculate area of a rectangle, this is what you have to write. Then you end there. But you can also add some juice there, decorate your program so that it will look nicely. So I will show you how you can do that. But up to this point now, before I continue, is there any question? Anything which is maybe difficult? Any line that you think maybe I have to repeat?
So what is the difference between this and HTML?
All right, as I have explained there in class, so HTML is just a scripting language. So I explained in class that all these programming languages, I differentiate this way myself so that to make it clear for everyone, because we have many different languages like Java, all those PHP, Python, and all these other many different programming languages. So to differentiate different languages, myself, I'll put it this way to say, okay, in South Africa, we have how many languages? 11 or 9? 11. So if I say, I have a Venda here and I have a Tsonga, and the Tsonga, we want to say, okay, I want to go to university. In Tsonga, vatari mi lava ku ya university hi Xitsonga, mi lava ku ya university hi Xitsonga. And in Venda, they will say Dikotodoya University. These people, all of them, they are saying the same thing. The only difference is the language. So you can choose if you are new in the country, and let's say you are an Indian or you come from Nigeria, you choose which language maybe you think is the best for you to learn. If you find that maybe Tonga is difficult, then you say, okay, let me go and stay with the vendors and learn Venda. So whatever things that you want to achieve, you can achieve it with the vendors. The same thing that even the Tongas can achieve. So going to university, they are saying the same thing. University, I want to go to university. They're saying the same thing. Maybe someone find it, okay, I myself, Tonga is difficult. Let me just go for a vendor. So all these languages, they are doing the same thing. The only thing that is differentiate them is just the structures. Because in C++, I will use C out as an output. In Java, I will write system.printout. But if I write it in Java, it's going to do the same thing. And if you want to write the C in, or if you want a user to key in the user, in Java, you say system.in. And you write the length, but you are doing the same thing. So that's how I differentiate it. So I think I put it clear in a way that maybe you understand. So the HTML, the other things that differentiate the HTML with these other languages that I'm talking, that one it deals with the browser, web browser, and then so I think I was clear there. Okay, in this program, is there any question? Everyone is quiet. Programming. Oh my God.
You explain it very well, the difference between those things.
All right. Okay, before I continue, okay, I think I just want to end because I don't want to give a lot of information in just one day, and I give you everything in one day, so you are not going to learn anything. So from this one, I'm just going to write some other extra thing here in this same program, so that maybe if you want to try to decorate your program, it's up to you. This one, you are done with this program, but you can try. Let's say, for example, I told you that the C in is for inserting, and the C out is for printing. So I'm going to write something here if you want this program to maybe to be user-friendly, to interact nicely with the user. And you can start it by writing, before you key in the number, remember C out, whatever thing that you write on C out is going to be printed as it is in the screen. So now here I can just first write myself, before I key in this length, I can write here, I say, I want my program to write enter length. So this one you will go and learn it nicely, maybe after this lecture, so that it maybe doesn't confuse your mind. But I'm going to explain a little bit here. So I'm just going to add something here, so that at least you will see what will happen after writing this. So now I can write this thing this way, and then I'm going to explain after putting all this stuff. Then I will say area equals to. All right, guys, here what I did, I'm going to explain as a compiler. This is how compiler works. After writing this one, the compiler will read everything line by line. So here on the left side, these are the numbers, 1 up to the last number. Your compiler read line by line. So when it goes to line number 1, it finds that there's nothing. It will jump and go to line number 2, find that there's nothing. It will jump and go to line number 3 and say, oh, this guy want me to use the IO stream. Okay, it's fine. I'm going to go to IO stream. Okay, line number 4, nothing. Okay, this guy is telling me now that I must use the namespace standard. Okay, it's fine. It will jump all these lines 6, 7 because there is nothing there. And then go to number 8 and say, oh, this guy says now here is what I'm going to do. This is the function. Okay, it's fine. Then go to 10, nothing. Go to 11 and say, okay, this man says now he declared this variable called area, length, and width. So the compiler will keep this one in its own memory to say, okay, Now we have three variables, which is area, length, and width, and all these ones are of double, data type called double. Okay, it's fine. It will read like that. Continue. 12, nothing. Go to 13. Okay, on line number 13, it finds C out. So the compiler will be told, okay, please, can you print this thing on the screen? Because C out, it means output on the screen. Output this code on the screen. What is it going to output? And I write the word enter length. So I say, I want you to output these words as they are. Enter length. That's why I put them on those sorry, I was disturbing. Okay, so as I was saying, on line number 13, so it will say, okay, this guy says enter length. Okay, from there it goes to line number 14. C in length. Okay, this guy says now I want the user to punch the word, to punch the value of length from the keyboard, because C in it means it instructs the program to say, I want the value that will be stored on length to come from the keyboard. Then, okay, it's fine. Then it go to 15. So if I run this one, let me run so that you will see what will happen. When it goes to line number 13, I'm going to run it here so that you will see. You see, now it shows there. It prints that word enter length to show that this is C out. This is the word that I write, C out, enter length. I want you to print this one on the screen, print enter length. Then after printing this word enter length, wait for a user to key in a value on the screen. That's one here is blinking. Then I key in, maybe I say the length is 3 or whatever value that you write. Okay, it's 5. I say enter. So it goes to line number 16. On line number 16, it was told again, enter the width. Then line number 17, key in. Then I'm going to key in the width, which is 3 in this case. Then from there, line number 19, it was told that the value of length and the value of width will be multiplied to give us the value of an area. So the value of area is just the multiplication of length and the width. So if I enter here, because here I write C out area equals 2, then I put this area. It is going to write for me here to say, okay, area equals 2, then it gives me 15. If you calculate here, 3 and 5, it's 15. So this is how maybe you can just try to decorate your program so that at least it will interact with the user. Instead of just writing without putting this out, the user will just see that there is a blinking there. The program is asking me to punch in something, but the user doesn't know what is that. But if you write those statements before any punch in, at least it will interact with the user and the user will understand what is really happening there. So this is the first program in C++. Okay, I'm giving you this homework. Just go and write a program in your own. You can write it in your book, or if you don't have a computer, it's not a problem. Just write it in a book. How do you write a program to calculate area of area of a circle, or area of a sphere or a circle? What is the function to calculate the area of a sphere? Anyone who knows? Area of sphere is given by what? From physics.
Pi r.
Pi r
I think it's
squared,
4 pi r.
It's
Yes.
4 pi r squared. So now,
Yes.
okay, just go and do that. I will see if you guys, you understand a little bit what we were doing. Just go and write a program that will calculate a area of a sphere, and we understand that area of a sphere is given by it's A stand for area is equals to 4. It's 4 pi radius square. No, so
Sure.
yeah. So it's 4
Yes.
pi. So I'm just giving you a hint in this part. It's 4 multiplied by pi multiplied by r multiplied by r. So it will be like this. So those ones who can see, you just see. So it means that your formula is this one. Just go and write this program. Write your own variable and try to see if maybe you can write this one. It means that in this case, the user only enter the value of r. Pi we understand is given by 3,14. Not so. Then it means that in this case, the user only enter the value of r, and then the program itself will give the result. Go and try to do that and just write it on in your notes as a homework. Check if you can do that. So tomorrow, but we don't have a class there. But if you want to show me whatever things that you've done for, maybe we'll see it on Friday. But we'll be there tomorrow for a departmental meeting. So if you are there, I will be in campus. You can come and show me whatever things that you want to ask. Maybe after the meeting you can come, and then I show you. If you have a laptop, you want that software, and then I can also copy it to you so that you can practice in your home. So guys, I think I will have to end here so that others can follow the recordings. I know that if the recording can be long, I know our minds are full of a lot of stuff. So it becomes difficult for some to do the follow-ups or to rewatch those lectures. I know it's not easy with a lot of things and Mubango and all those. So it becomes difficult for others. So if you have any question, you can say it, but now